Welcome back to Real Talk Sports with Rico, talking about the Dallas Cowboys. And I believe it is a new season, same Dallas Cowboys. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the drama that usually surrounds the Dallas Cowboys. And let's start with, I think, one of the biggest headlines around the Dallas Cowboys, and it is the CeeDee Lamb situation. You're seeing right now where Jerry Jones had to come out and clarify that, yes, they do want CeeDee Lamb. It sounded like initially he was saying that they could care less if CeeDee Lamb was around. But look, CeeDee Lamb is a huge part in the Dallas Cowboys and their success. And, with his contract situation looming, it looks like that this is going to continue to drag on. One of the things that they talk about in this particular article that we're looking at on the screen is they're talking about this is very similar to what happened with Ezekiel Elliott and his situation, where Ezekiel Elliott essentially did not get re-signed until about 4 days until the season started. And in that season, he got a $90 million extension, $50 million guaranteed. And they're saying that, look, this is essentially what might happen with CeeDee Lamb. And so, this is just one of the contract situations that I think is really putting some drama around this football team. On top of that, speaking of contract situations, you have Dak Prescott, who finished runner-up in the MVP race last season. Look, he's set to take a $55 million salary cap hit next season as his deal expires. All right. And so he's running into an expiring deal, and you cannot franchise tag him. And so this is a situation where the Dallas Cowboys are going to have to, I guess, go ahead and get CeeDee Lamb, and then they're going to have to try to figure out what are they going to do with Dak Prescott, who essentially I would say is their franchise quarterback. So that adds to the drama for the Dallas Cowboys going into this particular year. And if you have been looking at their preseason game in which they lost by 1 against the Rams, Trey Lance didn't really look as great as you would anticipate. So that leads me to believe that behind Dak Prescott, you're really going to have some question marks as to what will happen to your football team if Dak Prescott goes down via injury or if you decide not to pay him. Next up, I think the Dallas Cowboys could be in trouble because, well, the running back room is not the same. I know that you have Ezekiel Elliott back, but Ezekiel Elliott is not the same running back that he once was. He's had a lot of touches. He turns 29 going into this particular season, and he's got over 2,500 touches here. So 2,500 touches, that's a lot of touches, realistically for Ezekiel Elliott. And this team no longer has Tony Pollard. So now you're wondering who is going to step in to help out Ezekiel Elliott, because he is not an every down back. And so right now on the roster, they have Rico Dowdle on the roster. I mean, he's a player that he's shown some spurts, but I think his usage, we're unsure as to what type of player he can really become. I don't think he got enough touches last season, so they may have to depend on him. They did go out and sign Royce Freeman. They do have Deuce Vaughn still over here as well. And you have to wonder, is Dallas in the market for a veteran running back, which I think they could be? Think of a name like Dalvin Cook. I think that would be an interesting fit for Dallas. But I think that, yes, they have a huge question mark at the running back position. And I think it's been proven that Dak Prescott is not going to win you a Super Bowl throwing the ball 40, 45 times a game. It's just not going to happen. On top of that, looking at the offensive line, it is definitely changed over this particular season, and this might be as vulnerable as I've ever seen the Dallas Cowboys on the offensive line front. They do not have Tyron Smith anymore. They've lost players who were a significant piece for their running game and really that strong offensive line. This dates back to when Ezekiel Elliott was there before he departed to go over to eventually play for the Patriots. And so, this offensive line, it is going to be a bit interesting this year. You're going to need to be able to run the football, and then also you need to protect. So I think that is a huge question mark going into this year for the Dallas Cowboys. And then lastly, or the last two topics, I should say, say, is the defensive coordinator. All right. And so we know how good Dan Quinn was for the Dallas Cowboys. This is a defense that was ranked in the top 5, I believe, in scoring defenses. And you wonder now with Mike Zimmer coming over, can Mike Zimmer go out here and can he bring that same type of play style to the Dallas Cowboys? We know that, Coach Zimmer does know defenses dating back to what he was able to do with the Minnesota Vikings. But, will he be able to unlock this defense a lot like Dan Quinn did? And you're wondering, does this defense take a step back? Because that could be huge for the Dallas Cowboys, really, realistically. And so lastly, I'll say that it is going to be the same type of dramatic season for the Dallas Cowboys because, I've talked about all the drama that they have going on with the contracts. And that is just kind of what it is with the Dallas Cowboys. It's always something around this football team. But I think that they're going to have a very good season. They did win 12 games last season. They did win the division. But however, even if they win, my prediction is anywhere from 10 to 13 games. The NFC East has not had a back-to-back champion in quite some time, which leads me to believe that the Dallas Cowboys may have a good season. They're probably not going to win the division. And I do not believe that the Dallas Cowboys are going to win a playoff game. There's so much really surrounding Mike McCarthy, all right, and Jerry Jones and that whole relationship, because let's look at it. Look, Mike McCarthy, has gone 36-15 over his past 3 seasons. The issue with Coach McCarthy is this. He is only 1-3 in the postseason, which is very scary. And two of those losses, in the postseason were at home. So that just leads me to believe that the Dallas Cowboys are going to have a good year and they are going to have an unfortunate postseason exit as they usually do. So let me know in the comments what you think. Do you feel like the Dallas Cowboys are somehow, some way going to get back to where they were in the late 90s and get into the Super Bowl and not just get there, but actually win? But I think that they're trending towards just having the drama around them, good season, and then it's going to be another early postseason exit. Want to thank the fans out there for chiming in on a week-to-week basis with Real Talk Sports with Rico. And I want to thank the sponsors out there for putting sponsorship on this thing. We're going to continue doing our NFL previews as we go to each team, and we are going to be previewing what their season outlook could look like. So again, Dallas Cowboys, they're probably at best going to be second in the NFC East this year, maybe even third, depending on if a surprise team is able to jump up and get them. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.